Well, even with all the buildings along the Las Vegas Strip and all the action here, this is one of the city's biggest attractions. Allegiant Stadium opened back in 2020.
Today, it's the penultimate week of the regular season, Week 16, and we've got a good one in store between the New England Patriots and the Las Vegas Raiders.
And we are underway here in Las Vegas. This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Former member of the Crimson Tide, Damian Harris. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. It'll go as a loss of 3 right away, and it's second down.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on first and second down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on second and 13. Now Jones. A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
The quarterback got away with one there. Looked like he was in line for a pick, but instead it's knocked harmlessly to the turf.
And this opening drive not going to plan. This is now 3rd and 13. Throwing Jones. And the Raiders have got him. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. But defensively, you really can't script the start much better. You get a 3-and-out and a sack.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. They kept them short of a first down on first and second down. And then on third down, they pick up a sack. What tremendous momentum for them to start this game.
Here comes Humphries on the return. Call that one an even 60 yards, 6-0. And the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. They'll begin on the ground with Jacobs. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down. A lot of running backs, a little bit of a disadvantage when you start talking MVP. Might not be the case this year. You think he's got a shot, don't you?
I do. I think he's got more than a shot. But what he's going to need here down the stretch this late in the season, he needs that big closing game, that game that we're all going to reflect on and go, oh, my goodness, did he put up a number, let's say 200 plus?
On first down, they go with Jacobs again. And he's got room. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. That good for 22 and a first down. They went with the nickel look defensively, so they had 5 defensive backs in there. Didn't help them stop the run.
Yeah, I love that, the nickel look. 5 cents, 5 DBs. But what also happens then? You take a big body off the field in order to insert that guy. So you're taking a big off for a little. And oftentimes you can run the football effectively against that defense.
So into Pat's territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 41. They'll stay on the ground with Jacobs. Oh, that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. 43 yards rushing so far, and this is just their first possession. They've got a new set of downs here.
So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
Here's Jacobs on 1st and 10. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The Raiders at 500, 7-7 on the year. And they come in losers of 2 straight, so trying to turn things around here.
And you just mentioned 2 straight, and when you talk about 2 games, that's nothing to panic about. They feel like they've been a little bit unlucky in the last couple. This is a club that's more than capable of turning things around, and I expect them to play really well here.
Give them 12 yards that time, and a Las Vegas first.
Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script, you go through your play calling, you go through all this stuff and establish things, and it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
He will push his way down to about the 14. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
He's had success on this drive, but not on this play.
Finally, they bowed up defensively. I think they were determined not to let him take it pretty much all the way down the field.
Yeah, it looks like they handled their run responsibilities correctly this time. When we call them run fits, everyone was in the right place.
And the Raiders are going to have a 1st and goal forthcoming as he takes this down to about the 5-yard line. 5 yards from the end zone, 1st and goal. Here's Jacobs. And he's going to get him about 3 yards closer. He's down to about the 2.
And, Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line, because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help against the run.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Jacobs is going backwards as he'll be tackled back at the 4-yard line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to say?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well.
Line of scrimmage at the 4. Here's 3rd and goal. Shotgun now from Murray. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up 4th down.
That looked great when he first took off because, in my mind, there was room to run, and he had the marker in his sight. But I certainly didn't expect him to close so quickly, and neither did he. They got to him just in time, and now that forced him to make a decision with this 4th down call.
They go with Jacobs. And he's in. Touchdown, Raiders. Josh Jacobs, his 26th touchdown, drawing even with Marshall Faulk for the 4th most in a single season. And the Raiders' decision to go for it pays off with 6 points. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. On as the Raider kickoff unit now as they will send this one away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. The Pats at the line, ready to go. As we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
Throwing on second down. Jones got a man. It's Tyquan Thornton. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. That'll be a New England first down, a gain of 12.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
That's a really good gain right there. They pick up 5 yards halfway to a first down. The only problem now in the huddle, everyone's going to want to touch the football. Be a lot of chattering now because they've seen that they can move the line of scrimmage.
Second and 5. They'll keep it on the ground. Harris again. And he'll get about 3 up close to the 35. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. From the gun on third down, Jones. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Every offense tells you they want to come out and start fast. That's not unusual at all. But this group, they've yet to get much rolling through their first 2 drives. It looks like they're going to have to give up the football again after this one.
Jake Bailey on now to punt here on 4th down. And did they keep it in? They did. They kept it in. It's down close to the goal line at the 1-yard line.
You rarely call your punter a weapon, but he certainly was there. How about that? Pinning him down at the 1-yard line and helping out the defense in a big way. I'm telling you what, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I might be thinking safety right now.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. Well, just 2 series in here, Charles, but everything's gone to script so far. They got a touchdown on their first drive. Their defense holds, and now they've got a chance to take a 2-score lead.
And to co-sign with you, exactly the start they scripted up. And really, that kind of start, that can set the tone for the game for them.
The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. Slot man moves right. On the ground, it's Jacobs to start the drive. And he's able to get this across the 10 before being taken down. 79 yards rushing now for the NFL leader coming into this ball game. Out from the shadows of their goal line, here's 1st and 10 from the 11. Now a give to Jacobs running right. And a nice gain there as he'll be taken down just shy of the 20.
So much of the game today, we're looking for hybrid players, guys who can do a combination of jobs. And anyone who plays a strong safety position, now more than ever, is a hybrid type player. Half defensive back that covers passes and half linebacker that makes tackles. We just saw the linebacker make that play.
On second down, Jacobs. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
Once again, it's Jacobs. And he'll be taken down right around the 27. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And now Murray's going to set up to throw. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
As a coaching staff, you can call just about whatever you want because you understand you have guys who reliably take away those massive shots downfield. You're not as worried about giving up the big one.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Jacobs going to try the middle. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The pickup goes for 16 and a Raider first down.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
On 1st and 10, here's Murray. He rifles one that's intercepted. And the Pats are going to take possession of the football. It's almost like you can see the look of frustration on his face. 4 interceptions last week. We talked about it all week. What did he do wrong? And another one here in the first half.
And you can understand the frustration. You actually feel his pain a little bit. But the worst thing he can do is what you're seeing right now, showing the other team that he's frustrated. All they're going to do is double their efforts to make him even more frustrated. He's got to gather himself, compose himself, and keep fighting.
Well, he talked a lot about erasing that loss last week, getting back in the win column. We'll see how he responds. Here's Jones on 1st and 10. Throwing left side here, and it's complete. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line.
As long as you go through your proper reads and progressions, the drag route can be one of those old reliable plays because usually it's good for a good chunk of yardage as we just saw there.
And those guys like it, right? They can get the ball with a full head of steam.
Especially against man coverage because man coverage, you're typically running away from someone and not worried about traffic coming out on the other end.
Again, it's Harris on 2nd down. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
And they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
Jones now throwing on first down. And this is caught at the 8. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. Mark that as a gain of 16 to set him up 1st and goal.
Well, this is a defense that's definitely on their heels now because they gave up the running play for good yardage 1 play ago. Now the pass here sets this offense up 1st and goal. They're going to have to dig in strong now because they've been in retreat so far in this drive. This offense on the march.
A chance now to get even before the break as they come up 1st and goal. Harris running straight ahead. And he's in. Touchdown, Patriots. Damian Harris with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Pats are an extra point away now from tying this ball game. That almost looked too easy, and I think thanks goes to the offensive line for making it look easy.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one. I'm not sure how much everyone understands the preparations that go into a game for an offensive line, because there's a reason that running backs and quarterbacks give them big gifts at the end of a season after a big year. The consistency and the continuity it takes to know each other and execute their blocks is pretty impressive.
So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. The Las Vegas offense ready to start this next drive. They had the interception last drive, led to the tying touchdown, so 7-7 the score as they begin 1st and 10. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively, because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Here's Murray. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. He turned that into a nice gain, gets him 8 yards closer for 3rd down.
They made a nice effort to stick him with a loss for that play, but it's going to take more than that to keep him from advancing the ball. Should be an entertaining battle anytime he tucks and runs over the second half of this contest.
Here's Murray as he sets to throw it. Maybe not exactly what they had in mind, but that scramble good for 6 and a 1st down. Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Throwing now is Murray. And the throw left sideline here is caught, but they'll rule it incomplete. Couldn't keep his feet in. 2nd down.
I don't know about you, but I wanted to reach out of the booth and snatch that pass myself. That thing floated forever up there. I think that threw off the timing of the receiver. That's why he couldn't get his feet down even though he caught the ball.
You know, Charles, I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, me too.
For you. I wanted to see you reach out and catch that.
Yeah, you've heard about my hands, huh?
Back to the air on 2nd down. It's Murray. He'll rifle this one deep right side. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
That could have been a huge play, but give the defender credit. Stayed calm, stayed collected, and kept himself in a position to make a play on the ball without a penalty.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Out of the gun, here's Murray. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
This defense has certainly played well so far in this game, and the coverage has been tight on just about every throw. Forced a few here so far in this game, and now it brings up 4th down.
He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. The Pats at the line, ready to go. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Going for the deep ball. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
This is what defensive coaches ask of their defenders every single ball game. Get a hand on every throw in coverage. They want the deflections. They want the knockaways. Pick it yourself if you can, but at least knock it down and guarantee it's incomplete.
A final shot before break. Jones. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete. So a touchdown apiece. That's what we have to show at halftime as they head to the locker room. 7-7 our score. As we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports halftime report. Coach? Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. Set and ready to go for the second half. One touchdown apiece, 7-7 our score. And no run back here as the third quarter will commence with a touchback. The offense for Las Vegas about set to begin the drive. It's a tie football game here. What do you think, Charles, the message was at halftime?
Well, I think that they probably just looked at things and said, we're fortunate that this is a tie game. No need to panic. No need to change a whole lot. We didn't play anything close to our best in the first half, so we don't have to go out and win one for the Gipper. Let's just go out and play our best football and win one for us.
It won't be a sack, but it's no gain, and it brings up second down. To throw, it's Murray. And this is caught by Curse. And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains.
And he's the epitome of what we call the move tight end. A guy that you can line up anywhere. In the slot, out wide, in tight. Doesn't really matter because he has such great skills. You want to utilize him in all aspects of your passing offense.
And there he was in the slot for the catch. Murray now on first down. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Partner, for once in my life, I'll be succinct. In a one-possession game, every single stop like that could be a difference maker.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Murray now to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. And the Patriots are going to take possession of the football. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
Now a first down carry for Harris. And good space to operate there as he takes this down inside the 35-yard line. 14 yards is the pickup there and a New England first down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Now Jones on first down. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jayon Brown. And the Raiders are going to take possession of the football.
Now we're going to get a timeout here called by the Patriots. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter.
Running straight ahead is Jacobs. And a good-looking run there as he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18-yard line. 124 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. 1st and 10, and they've got 3 tight ends out there. A jumbo package look. Here's Murray. And that's going to be knocked away in the end zone. It's incomplete.
But based on the play we just saw there, he might not be the guy you want to challenge in coverage on these all-important snaps. He certainly looks dialed in right now.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. They'll run right here with Jacobs. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Hey. Swim. Hey.
Murray going to throw. And he's going to be stopped well short of what he needed as the tackle is made at the 18-yard line. Only able to get back a yard for his efforts, and that leads us to 4th down. Daniel Carlson set for the Raider field goal. This one from 35 yards away. The kick by Carlson is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
The Pats at the line, ready to go. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Offense looked a little bit discouraged after that play, shaking their heads a bit, looking at each other. I think they thought they'd get a lot more out of that call. Sometimes you do get the running lane you want. And other times, the defensive front, they just break up the play before it can get going.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. They're just a little too lackadaisical, Charles, and they didn't get up and snap the ball in time. Delay of game.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he understood where the clock was located. In different stadiums, it's in different places. You have to check that in pregame and make sure you're aware so you don't run into penalties like these.
Jones to throw on second down. Escaping pressure, gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line. Max Crosby in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Open man is Samuel, complete. It's a 15-yard pickup, but it'll lead to a 4th down. They're going to try and throw. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jayon Brown. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Raider defense delivers a score. Well, Charles, just some visibly frustrated players and coaches on that sideline right now because those halftime adjustments didn't work. The turnover problems continuing here in the second half, and the defense now sitting pretty comfortably as a result of that pick six.
Hey, that's a great observation too, Brandon, because they did make adjustments at halftime. But how about this other group staying a step ahead despite whatever happened in that other locker room? No surprise they're leading, and it's appropriate that those defenders got to add to the lead directly.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. And this will be returned from deep in the end zone. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. And a very solid return out across the 45-yard line before going out of bounds.
It's the third quarter, and they're down on the scoreboard. And while no one wants to hit the panic button just yet, points are a necessity on this drive. What a great way to get set up.
The Pats at the line, ready to go. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. 51 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
On 1st and 10, Jones. Throw right side is going to be caught by Samuel. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. 1 quarter remains here in Week 16. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Options galore here, second and a few inches. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. New England on third down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. They're looking at third and a few inches. Operating from the gun, Jones. He'll dump this down to Stevenson. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. It'll be a loss of 2, maybe 3 on the play, and it'll be 4th down. But plays like that, Charles, no doubt, they're just going to continue to fuel this crowd.
And this defense is already playing well, but it also feeds on the energy of that crowd that you're talking about, and that takes them up to another level. Right now, they're playing really loose. They've got the lead, and what a nice stop they just made there behind the line of scrimmage.
Desperation time now. Here's Jones. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by Trayvon Merrick. And the Raiders force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. Well, when you start thinking of guys that are in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year, I think you use him as Exhibit A. Maybe he's not the leading guy right now, but he's at least on the periphery and deserves to be in the discussion.
And because of that, he's looking at a game today where in order to make that big move and maybe become the guy, he needs multiple takeaways, multiple big plays, things that get our attention and reverberate for weeks to come.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Here's a handoff to Jacobs. And he'll push his way forward to about the 32. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Now Murray. And this is going to be incomplete. Critical play in this football game, because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. The Pats at the line, ready to go. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today.
Picked off by Divine Diablo. And the Raiders are going to take possession of the football. Well, time, certainly not on their side offensively. They had to take some chances, but that interception will further hinder their already slim chance at victory.
And you're talking about time not on their side, but it certainly is on the defensive side, and they understood that. They knew they had to press it a little bit, and they planned accordingly, and what a benefit for them, able to pick that one off and hopefully put this game away.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there, but how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
On 2nd and 9, Murray, and intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked up by Jonathan Jones. And the Pats are right back in this football game. That is now 7 interceptions between last week and this week. 3 in this game, 4 a week ago.
And I saw the head coach write on his play sheet, make a little note. I hope he's writing self-scout. Bring in the guys that scout games for you with a different eye and watch him and see what's going on, and maybe they can pick up what the flaws are, and hopefully they can correct them.
Jones and the Pats now with a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. They'll start on the ground with Harris to about the 33-yard line.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Looking to throw. Jones. And he will find his man, Samuel. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A 1st down there on a pickup of 25.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a 1-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
Here's Jones on 1st and 10. Open man is Myers. And the tackle going to be made at the 38. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Jones. And this is intercepted. And that should do it. And the Raiders are going to get the football here as he gets this up past the 20-yard line. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ball game, I would have said never, not in a million years, but here we go. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. 2nd down, Jacobs once more. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. Down under 2 minutes to go in this football game. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. On the handoff, this is Jacobs. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
Murray's going to look to throw this thing. It's caught inside the 25. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. 36 yards on the play.
A lot of running backs in the passing game, they're just used to check it down to them or maybe dump off passes. But this guy, they use him to stretch the field, don't they?
He stretched it right there, turned it into a really nice game. Here's Jacobs from the gun. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7.
It's a gain of 15, and that ought to just about put an end to this one.
No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Easy.
They'll run it with Jacobs. And he'll take this for a short gain on what will prove to be the final play of this ball game. So this one a victory for the Las Vegas Raiders. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half, the adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So for Las Vegas, the win moves them to 8-7 now on the year. And next week they get to stay home again as the Los Angeles Chargers come to town. Meanwhile for New England, things get even uglier now as they fall to 2-13. And they'll look to get back on the beam next week.